So I'd like to give you a really useful way to look at the law of reverse effort. And the law of reverse effort states, as just a quick reminder, that the harder you try to play well, the more difficult the game becomes. And we've all had these sometimes all too rare experiences, right? Where for whatever reason, the game just comes effortlessly to us. And the moves we make are happening spontaneously. We're not really thinking about what we're doing on the court. It's just happening. We're reacting instinctively instead of overthinking our moves. And the game just feels easy and natural and spontaneous and fun. And it feels like we're flying rather than like slowly pushing a boulder up a hill like it does when we're really stuck in our head. And so, in a word, that experience, the way that we're playing is effortless. It's effortless. And effortlessness is an ability that actually you can cultivate in yourself. You can cultivate it if you understand what it is. And so what I'd like to do in this note is give you a way to look at effortlessness that you may not have considered before. So effortlessness is exactly equivalent to fearlessness. Okay, effortlessness is exactly equivalent to fearlessness. In other words, when you are playing effortlessly, it is because there is an absence of fear. You're not afraid of messing up. You're not afraid of making a mistake. You're not afraid of getting scored on or missing a shot or any of these that you're not afraid of your coach scolding you. This is why we play so much better on the playground with our friends or whatever when the pressure is off, right? Because we're not afraid of all these things happening. But of course, when we get into a real game and the pressure's on, all of a sudden there's all of these fears and we start trying too hard. We're putting too much effort in rather than allowing the game to happen effortlessly. So effortlessness, once again, is exactly equivalent to fearlessness. Another way you may have experienced this before, or we've all experienced this, right? Where you're talking with a close friend of yours and the conversation is just happening so naturally and effortlessly, and you're not thinking about the things that you're saying. It's just normal for you guys to be having a conversation because you're great friends. As soon as maybe you are with somebody that you don't feel quite comfortable with, they're a new person, there's a little bit of pressure you kind of want them to like you. Suddenly there's this fear of them not liking you or you two not getting along or whatever the case may be. And you're second guessing yourself. And there's this little fear that's stifling you and you don't feel as effortless. Again, that is because you are feeling, you have this fear with this person. So, I'll continue saying this just to let it sink in. Effortlessness is exactly equivalent to fearlessness. So when you find yourself trying a little bit too hard on the basketball court or anywhere in your life, ask yourself, like, what am I afraid of here? Because when there is a little bit too much of that try hard energy going on, there always is a fear that is driving it. So what are you afraid of? In the context of a basketball game, you might say to yourself, like, oh, well, I'm trying a little too hard here. I want this a little bit too much. This isn't as effortless as it needs to be. What am I really afraid of? Am I afraid that my coach will take me off the court? Okay. Is that the end of the world? Is that the worst thing that could possibly happen in my life right now? Is that really such a big deal? This is a really simple way to untangle these fears in the moment and start playing a little bit more effortlessly. If you, again, find yourself trying a little bit too hard in a game and you ask yourself, like, what am I really afraid of right now? Almost every single time you will find that the thing that you are afraid of is something that if you actually looked at it head on, like, oh, I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of missing this shot, or I'm afraid of guarding this player because I think he's going to score on me and I'm going to look bad, or I'm afraid of what this person in the stands is thinking of me, or I'm afraid of my teammate outplaying me, or whatever the case may be. Every single time, if you look at it head on, you will find that it's actually not that scary. Your coach taking you off, not that big of a deal. It's going to happen to everybody. Your teammate outscoring you, not that big of a deal, and really not even really a problem, frankly, if you care about the success of your team. Like, that will happen. You will not lead your team in scoring every game. If you are afraid of that person in the stands not thinking you're so great, does it really matter? And what you will find is that the thing that you're afraid of and not looking at directly is not only causing you to try a little bit too hard and actually play worse, and in turn, it's actually causing the thing that you're afraid of most to happen, or be much more likely to happen. There's that famous Kobe quote: if you're afraid to fail, you're probably going to fail. So the thing that you're fearing is much more likely to happen if you are playing out of fear of that thing happening, right? I hope that made sense. It was a lot of words at once. But not only that, but the thing that you are most afraid of, if you really look at it, isn't actually that big of a deal. All right. Your life isn't being threatened in most, we're talking in basketball terms here. Like if you miss a shot, you're not going to die, right? They're not really that big of a deal. So all it takes to sink into this more effortless way of playing is to say, okay, well, what fear is driving this, me to try a little bit too hard? What fear is really driving me? Okay, so I'm afraid to, whatever the case may be, I don't know, miss this shot. What if I miss? If the clock winds down, ball's in my hands, I miss the game winner, everybody looks at me and is a little bit disappointed, I feel embarrassed. Okay, but life goes on, right? Every great player misses game-winning shots. So is that so bad? And this is a really simple way to start untangling these fears and allow yourself to play a little bit more effortlessly. Because once again, I want to say this one more time for emphasis. I know we've said it so much here, but effortlessness is exactly equivalent to fearlessness. So when you're playing effortlessly, it's because there's an absence of fear. So what are you afraid of? Is it such a big deal? And can you let that go and allow yourself to just enjoy the game and play the way that you know you can? All right. Consider that. I hope it helped you out, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey, it's Taylor. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, the best thing to do right now while it's fresh in your mind is to head over to deepgame.com and join us in our free masterclass. Now, this is where you'll learn all 8 laws of the deep game and all of the fundamentals that you need to know about the part of basketball that's played with the mind. We've had players call this the best hour of basketball learning of their lives, and it's completely free right now. So head over to deepgame.com to join us, and I will see you